Let me ask you a question. Or is it a question? No. While you were in school, or for those of us that are still in school, do you realize that usually when it gets to the exam period, that is when you feel exhausted the most. That is when you feel tired the most. That is when you feel hungry the most. And then when you go to eat, you get a little bit of energy, right? So I remember when I was still in school, because I went to a boarding school. Um, you know, throughout the term, you get to manage food and everything, but when it gets to the exam period, that is when it's like there's general hunger, and then it seems the food that we get from school plus our provisions suddenly are no longer enough. Yeah, that is the best intro ever. All right, so people, you're welcome to Nutrition with Patet, and just like my intro says, I'm actually talking about your brain. Your brain, its functions, not its functions basically, but your brain and its demand for fuel. Okay, its demand for fuel. Maybe my intro should have been, have you ever tried moving a vehicle and then all of a sudden it stopped? Why? Fuel is finished, like it's totally finished. I think that should have been my intro. Actually, it should have. So let me tell you a story, a very short one. Recently, not long ago, I had an interview. Okay, I had an interview. It was the job interview. So I had an interview, and then I ordered a ride. One of our popular hailing services. So I ordered a ride, and then we're going and we're going and we're going, and then just before we got to my destination, not so far away, maybe a kilometer or so from my destination, the car stopped. It stopped. If you know Abuja very well, if you know Apple Bridge, going towards Gudu, just going up the bridge, the vehicle stopped there, and the reason is because the fuel finished, so the vehicle could no longer do anything. Yeah. So I think this should have been this should have been my intro. Anyway, again, you're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, you're welcome. And to my should I say new viewers, you're welcome. Those that have subscribed, thank you. If you haven't subscribed, thank you for subscribing, because I know you're doing that now. So I'm talking about your brain. Most of the time we tend to think less of the functions of our brain. Imagine you're thinking less of the functions of your brain, using your brain to think less of the functions of your brain. Doesn't make sense. So your brain needs fuel to function. So just like your vehicle needs fuel to function, your brain equally needs fuel to function. Now, without this fuel, your brain will not function at its full capacity. Right? So you use your brain to think, you use your brain to learn, you use your brain for memory, and you need to feed your brain or give it its fuel to function the way you give your vehicle its fuel to function. Now, what is this fuel that your brain needs? Your brain needs glucose. Glucose is the fuel that your brain needs to function. Today, yesterday, today, tomorrow, it is still glucose. And in my previous videos, I talked about the sources of glucose. You get glucose from carbohydrates. Alright, so when you eat foods that are rich in carbohydrates, glucose, is one of the end products. The simple sugars that you obtain, and that is what your brain uses for its functions. Okay, so as much as possible, you try to eat glucose. Sometimes there are people that are like, I'm trying to lose weight, and then because they're trying to lose weight, they stay away. They stay totally away. They don't want to eat anything that has carbohydrates. I mean, yep, it's good. Remember, in life, everything you want to eat, you eat in moderation. Okay, so for every advantage that something has, that's its advantage, and nothing totally has disadvantage. You need carbohydrates. You need carbohydrates to function. You need glucose to function. Else, you won't be able to function well. So, you have kids at home. If you're not going to do it for you, do it for your kids. Do it for your younger ones. They need to eat properly. They need their brain to function. They need to think. They need to do all of these things. So remember what I said earlier when I was talking about school and exams and everything. Because the more you use the brain, the more the brain works, the more glucose it uses. And so that's why sometimes you find out that I just ate, but I mean you're reading, you're studying. So before you know, it's gone. So try to eat healthy, eat glucose. I just hope that this video has helped you know one very vital importance of consuming rich carbohydrates. I am not talking about going to go and taking carbonated drinks. Get your glucose from your carbohydrates, from the carbohydrate you get from your starch, your root, your tubers, and the rest of them. All right. And I know some people might be like, how about those that are diabetic? Should they be eating a lot of this? Well, now, remember, it is very important to seek wise counsel. So, for this, I'll tell you, locate the nearest dietitian, and then they will talk to you. And if you can't find one, you can send me a personal message, and we'll see about that. Okay, that is the end of today's conversation. Hope it was brief. I do hope it was brief. If it wasn't brief, I'm sorry, but if you feel it was too brief, I'm equally sorry. Alright, so till I see you guys again. No way. Okay, so before I see you guys again, I just want to remind you or tell you guys that I'm a fan of Chelsea Football Club, and my club is doing madness in the transfer window, and we hope to do well in the league. Okay, so yeah, now I can go. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys again next week. Bye bye.